Melissa here from Promotions. How are you all doing tonight? Candy, welcome to the show, my co-host, and Johnny Jetson, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, Johnny, tell us about yourself. What's going on? Where are you from? Tell me something about you.
Well, I'm a Capricorn, and I was born and raised on the East Coast.
Awesome.
Was a teenager in the New York area in the 80s. Been playing in bands since I was a teenager.
I love it.
Very cool. What got
Made
you
ba-
started? Like what inspired you to get started?
I was exposed to music at a young age and always thought it was cool. Inherited a stack of 45 records from my aunt when she went to college. Stole the
Oh,
Beatles,
cool.
full of the Beatles and the Stones, and I guess like most kids play Nintendo or play with Pokemon cards. I was just obsessed with playing music and records, and
That's
would
cool.
would sit next to anyone who was playing a guitar and be amazed by it and want to play it. And
And were you self-taught? Did you take lessons, or did you kind of just
pretty much
fiddle
self-taught.
around with the guitar?
I was pretty much self-taught. Took a summer's worth of guitar lessons back when I was about 10 years old and got my first electric guitar and wanted to learn every Kiss song. I was 10,
There you
1978,
go.
1978, so it was the heyday for being a Kiss kid. And one Christmas, I got a black Les Paul copy guitar and
Ooh.
4 records, and that coincided with this strange guy that landed on my planet, my small little town on Long Island. This guy looked like Keith Richards, and one day I seen him. I was driving with my parents in the car and seen this guy walking down the street. Now in my small town, he just stuck out like a sore thumb. Looked like Keith Richards, or like Joe Perry.
Mhm.
To me, you look like Kiss without makeup. Like, oh, who's this rock star? Well, it turned out he was some semi-rock star, but recovering junkie looking to get away from the smack of New York City, and was staying in my little small town drying out. And he got a gig at the local bar and was playing there each weekend. And we would go down, and my parents made a deal to get some lessons from him. So he was staying in a little apartment above the bar, and
Mhm.
it was awesome. I mean, we sat there. I brought my Kiss record. I wanted to learn Kiss songs, and he listened to it a little bit. And he was a much better musician than just playing Kiss songs. It was really good. I mean, I'm sure he would have been more excited had I brought my Stones records. But I was into the Stones in second grade, and by third grade, I was into Kiss.
So you said you were learning Kiss songs. What was the first Kiss song you ever learned?
Well, I think I wanted to learn like "Shout It Out Loud," and
Nice.
we listened to a lot of the Destroyer record, which is what I brought over for my first lesson. The Destroyer record, which is what I brought over for my first lesson.
I'm having a difficulty.
Having
I just
technical difficulties. Yeah.
yeah, just keep it going.
Yeah. No worries.
Somebody's trying to
I
get
No
heard,
on.
worries.
I don't know.
No
heard a
worries. No
little bit of
worries.
an
We're just
echo,
trying to
so
work
I
out the
paused
kinks.
this.
No worries.
Just keep it going,
But
Candy, and I'll fix it.
We actually have a comment, Johnny. Actually, a couple of comments. My mom is tuned in. She says, "Good evening." And my mom is about 10 minutes, 15 minutes from me. So she's over there. So hi, Mom. Thanks for tuning in. We actually have a really cool comment from somebody here, Anthony Prater. I hope I said that right. Hey, Johnny, I found you. His workout videos get me picking up the guitar again. How cool is that, Johnny?
well, that's a story unto itself, about the workout videos and what it's becoming, I guess,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how it's evolved. And some of the workout videos have been seen by tens of thousands of people now. And I get messages every day from people who have been inspired by them to pick up the guitar again, decades,
Mm-hmm.
and that's awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about. Um,
That's really cool.
Never too old to rock and roll, never too young to rock and roll, and certainly, you know, no one should ever feel like they need to hang up their guitar or they've outgrown it or something. What the workout videos show people is a guy, you know, having fun playing the songs he grew up with and inspired him to play guitar. And a lot of people are connecting with that and realizing, hey, yeah, I had a lot of fun just jamming the records, It's like, okay,
Right.
I never became a rock star. Maybe my band broke up 30 years ago and I stopped playing because, oh, we didn't make it or whatever. But playing guitar and playing to rock and roll music doesn't have to be about making it. It should be about having a lot of fun. And I
That's the
certainly,
main thing. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said having fun. That's so important. That's awesome. Um, I'm gonna go
yeah,
back to the
yeah,
board. We
I,
do have a
I've
few.
gone, I've gone through times in my life where I didn't even want to go down into my studio. I don't know really why or what triggered it, but you know, you can easily like the stresses of life turn your attention to other things. It's like, oh, I don't have time for that anymore, or whatever. And it's like, well, you're probably going to feel better and handle stresses in life better if you just make a little time to do the thing you love in life, right? So,
Exactly.
even just 15 minutes or a half hour a day, you throw on an album side you used to love as a kid, and you try to figure out how to play it. That's what I do. A lot of guys like, some guys are like, you're not playing that quite right the way it's played on. It's like, well, I'm not watching videos or trying to be some instructional, you know, teach people how to play. I'm just trying to figure out the song as I hear it and then move on to the next one and make it fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I'm
I
sure
love
guys,
that.
yeah. But like you said,
Um,
like the
yeah.
you answer was, how does it make me feel? And it makes me feel really good because it wasn't too long ago I kind of made a deal with my higher power that, you know, if he would take me under his wing again and if I promised to be a good boy and spread his message of peace and love, if he could maybe find a way to restore me in the music a little bit and
Oh my God, I
teach me.
absolutely love that. Yes. Oh,
Well, I mean, there is something going on because it took me 5 years to go from 7,000 to 8,000 followers, and it went from 8,000 to 19,000 followers in the past 2 months. I went from having
Wow.
videos that were seen by 100 people over the course of months and even years to, like I said, I put out a video with the hair of the dog. Now you're messing with the son of a bitch. You know that
I
song? I
love
put
that
that out
song. Yes.
within within a few days. It had over 100,000 views and thousands of likes and hundreds of shares. And so there's something more at work than just some guy who had a career 20 years ago in the music, playing, cover songs in his jam room. It, it's something bigger than that, and I'm excited to see that. And to put a spiritual spin on the messages because it's like, oh, rock and roll is supposed to be so hard and so tough, and is I yeah, and I went down that path of hard, tough rock and roll with no God and for decades, and there wasn't much of a payoff at the end. So I looked around and I said, well, lots of people taking the dark side real serious and making a big investment in time and money putting out a dark message. So, they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't think that there was a yin to the yang. I'm going to go start working for the underdog at the moment. God maybe be perceived as somewhat of an underdog or not as cool or hip as Satan, but I've always wanted the underdog. I've always rooted for the bad news bears to win. So that's where we're at now. And people have been, I mean, there's a lot of people who love God and have, a relationship and love rock and roll too. And there's
Mhm.
a few bands out there that preach a message, but I'm not preaching a message. Just letting you know, like behind the scenes, the deal I
No,
made.
I love it. We were interested in what makes you you, and that's very, very important to us that we hear the
That's
stories.
that's right. It makes you unique. It's who you are. And just because the music that you like you're doing someone else's music, it doesn't sound like them. Of course it doesn't sound like them because I'm playing it. It's never going to sound the same way. It's never going to have that same sound like if you do a Motley Crue song or if you do a Kiss song. You know, that because they did it in their own unique way and you do it in your own unique way. And
Yeah,
that's what makes it special.
don't someone along the line told me, don't listen to like a whole bunch of the same stuff and then pick up your guitar and write songs, because you'll wind up sounding a lot like what you're listening to. So, you know, I don't know. But I also started the workout videos so that I would, like I said, like learn how to play a lot of the songs that, well, maybe I thought I did, or I knew a lick or two, or knew, how to play the chorus or something. But when you match it up against, when you're playing to the band and you really want to fit in, there's like more of a discipline and, there's so many little subtleties that go, even with just the rhythm playing, you know, that if you want to play like them, you got to take your time and figure out how they're stroking it. Is it upstroke, downstroke? Oh, a little pause there, a little thing there. Those little nuances and stuff make it. I mean, anyone can just like drive the guitar right over it, but those little subtleties is what I'm trying to get at. I'm hoping it's going to influence my next record, and open me up to some new riffs and remind me of the guitar player I started out wanting to be. So yeah, it's like rock and roll therapy, and it's spreading
Absolutely.
in a positive way.
It's awesome.
All kinds
Absolutely.
Totally awesome.
of picking up.
Um,
I'm blowing away. I've started to share a little bit of stories. Like I put out a Motley Crue cover, and or I'll just call it like a playthrough. My workout videos are just playthrough. I'm just playing guitar right over the track, trying to blend in my sound to fit in and sound like I'm in the band. And they're only getting better because I'm finding other techniques to, bring out the different tones in the guitar to fit in with different sounds of the band.
mhm.
And people would be amazed at what it's come down to. If there's anyone listening that's tech savvy with the guitar and wondering how the videos and the guitar sounds really well blended, it's because I'm just playing through basic amplifier, distorted, no EQ whatsoever on any of the gear. Everything flatline at 0 for EQ, and then I'm using the guitar volumes and tones, subtle little adjustments. A lot of guys like me for years, oh, the guitar's on, I just turn that, I want the volume knob all the way up. So, but there's such subtleties in the pickups. And guys that play for years, I guess, I've been playing a long time, you figure this out. But if there's new guitar players out there, there's a big difference between 6 on your volume knob for your lead pickup and 10. There's a world in there. And I'll dial it in. It'll be like, oh, Aerosmith is kind of around 7. A lot of that classic rock is around 7 on your pickup volume. But it's a whole tonality thing, and like everyone seems to, and I did for years, overdrive, want the most distortion. But a lot of times when you're playing with a band, it isn't about the most distortion or overdrive. It's kind of backing off on that drive and finding the sweet spot where your guitar tone fits in. So anyone listening, play with that volume knob. There's a lot of, been playing for 45 years and never really thought it out. Sure, I'd back down if it quiet part a little bit, but for playing the whole song, you can find a sweet spot in the volume of your pickup.
Right.
So yeah, that's the tech part, brought to you by Gibson and Epiphone and the other equipment I play.
It's awesome.
There you go. Yeah.
Love it. I'm gonna go to the board again real quick because we do have a couple more comments. Real quick though, anyone that is tuned in via Facebook, if you're able to get it to work and you would like to leave a comment, please leave your name next to your comment. Facebook and StreamYard don't get along very well, and sometimes we don't know who's commenting or who's asking a question. So if you're commenting through Facebook, please leave your name next to your comment or your question so we can address you accordingly. Now, We do have a couple more comments. Skip Parrot is tuned in and says, hey, JJ, guess who's watching? We got your friends tuned in. My mom has a really cool question. She says, Johnny, I love your tattoos. Do they all have meaning?
Nice question. I like that. Yes.
Do they all have meaning? Yes, they do all have meaning, but it wasn't a deep meaning, and I didn't pay a lot for my tattoos. I was in a band called Space Age Playboys, and our bass player was Riley Baxter, who is a tattoo artist of renown. He's working out of Las Vegas now. But Riley tattooed me a bunch when I was in the band, when we were bored. Gal over here, I got kind of half done, half finished. Mario Barth did that. He's got a tattoo studio.
That's
Mandalay
cool.
Bay. Mario Barth.
Very cool.
That one in Sweden. A little skull.
Yeah.
So it's,
Do you have any kiss tattoos?
Don't look too closely at my tattoos because I didn't pay a lot of money for them, but I am proud of India.
Oh, check it out.
Oh, look at that.
Wow, look
Gorgeous.
at that.
And Hot Wheels from '68, which
Oh,
I was
nice.
born in '68 along with Hot Wheels.
Cool.
I wasn't too far behind you or ahead of you. Yeah. What's that?
Do you have any kiss tattoos?
I don't have any Kiss tattoos. I have a Kiss Army patch on my vest.
That's cool.
I love it. Yes.
Second.
Let's check the back of your jacket. What's on the back of your jacket? How many
That's
patches
a really cool
you got
battle
on your
vest.
Yeah. Oh, look at it. Oh.
I'm on vacation down here in Phoenix, Arizona, so I've got a limited wardrobe.
Okay.
Oh, that must be nice. How's the weather down in Phoenix?
It's beautiful. Next time we get together, we'll get together for my studio, and then I can play some songs, and I can.
Oh, we would love that. Absolutely, you got it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I love the leopard touch. I'm a leopard. I love leopard everywhere. My car is leopard and everything. But yes, I love the leopard.
Lisa, why don't we take a quick?
Back when I lived in LA, I had an old Cougar, and it had a leopard interior, and I wore leopard shirts and jackets, and I had a leopard covered amplifier. I think at one time I had a leopard covered guitar. They would have probably called me Johnny Cougar, but that name was taken.
That's true. Yeah. Damn it. Okay, Candy, what did you want to do?
I was going to say, why don't we take a quick break? Because I know that we have a video lined up to play.
Yes. We're going to play this video. I'm going to be out of this video, and I'm going to put that on right now. It's called Snow Gun. Where's my remote? I'm constantly losing it. Okay, hang on just a minute. Get this thing closer. Let me know if y'all can hear it and see it, okay? Once I hit the button. Is that good?
A little bit more to the right.
Oh, right. That was amazing. I love that. Where's my remote? I lost it again. Bear with me.
Thanks,
That is
thanks
really
for playing
cool.
the video.
Oh, you're very welcome. That's what we do here.
Yes, we want to
That's-
see.
Recordings just
Go ahead, Candy.
It's one thing that makes our show very unique compared to others is that we play music live on the air. And we love to
Very cool.
showcase the talent of our guests. That's what we love to do.
Absolutely.
Fan-
So since we only have you for another 20 minutes or so, I know you kind of need to get on your way here. We definitely want to squeeze in some really fun questions because that's another thing that we love to do on this show is we like to laugh and we like to enjoy ourselves and we like to have fun. So let's get to the first question, shall we, Lisa Lou?
Sure. You want me to go first or you go first?
I want to go first. Thank you very much.
You go right for it. Go right ahead. There you go. I just had to fix one
Johnny.
more thing there. Okay, go ahead.
Johnny,
Question one.
your honest opinion, please. Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Damn it!
Damn.
Damn it.
Now, the only reason I had a Coke was this is my daughter's. I have and she has a Pepsi because she had Pepsi with her dinner, and I said, okay, well then you can show your Pepsi, I'll show the Coke.
But really,
It's
the
been an ongoing
opposite.
thing. Absolutely.
Now,
If I could send this Coke to her, I would.
had you asked me Pepsi or RC or Coke or RC, I would have gone with RC.
Damn it.
Okay. There you go.
That's funny. It's we get mixed reviews, but mostly Coca-Cola. I
Yes.
find.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's Jack and Coke, it's Marlboro Reds, it's I mean it's Americana. What did
Yeah.
Andy Warhol say about Coca-Cola? You can be rich, you can be poor, you can be on Madison Avenue drinking a Coke, and you can be in Indonesia, working in a mine drinking a Coca-Cola, and it's the same Coke, and
Mhm.
something people can relate to about the shared experience. And Pepsi, I mean, as far as marketing or what's cooler, I mean, Coca-Cola, of course. I mean, they invented Santa Claus, didn't they? But the taste wise, it's just something about, I don't know, Pepsi seems a little more syrupy. I like it. I got a sweet tooth. I don't know.
I do too. It's sweet.
Oh
Now, if
man.
you ask if I want to snort a line of Pepsi or a line of Coke, I'd say here's a line of Coke. But
There you go.
Oh man. All right, and
people want us musicians secretly. They want to, live vicariously through us. They want us to say those things, Yeah,
Right.
I don't mind saying them. I got a great sense of humor.
I love it. I
Yes,
absolutely
yes.
love it. The other question I
do we
always
have-
love to. What's that?
Is this question two?
This is question number 2 coming up. So, if you were stranded on a deserted island, what 5 items would you want to bring with you, Johnny?
These are items, not people, right?
Could be whatever you want. People,
Yeah, it
items,
could be
whatever.
anything. Yeah.
Like a stand-up Defender arcade game. My Farrah Fawcett poster.
We got a story about Farrah Fawcett. Okay, go ahead. We love Farrah Fawcett. Go ahead.
A record player with K-Tel's greatest rock hits of 1978.
Now you're
And-
talking. I grew up in your era. I sure did. I loved all that
And
stuff.
a huge bag of food and fresh water. Can I at least get off on have a bag of food and water on the islands and then those other things?
Yep, you got it.
I love it. Remember, I love those K-Tel records. Oh my Lord. That was so fun.
I didn't have a
Lisa,
lot of money growing up.
I gotta step away for just a minute, okay? I'll be back.
Okay.
I didn't have a lot of money as a kid growing up, and the K-Tels were always, appealing because they had all this, they had Hot Blooded by Foreigner on there. They had a Kiss song on there. They had, there's always a couple throwaways, but,
Yeah. That
K-Tel record
just took me back. Oh my God, that I love that memory. Thank you.
For those
That was so cool.
who don't know what K-Tel are, K-Tel records were just like compilation albums that this company put out, and they put out, their disco hits and rock hits and, pop hits and the K-Tel records. They're a lot of fun. I actually have quite a few of them collected over the years.
I don't know if I still have mine.
Because people ask, oh, you seem pretty diverse in what you listen to, and it's like, yeah, well, I was starting out playing, I put on a K-Tel record and learn how to play that Kiss song, and then I'd also be jamming along with like the Journey and the Kansas and the Foreigner and the Eddie Money and all those other songs too.
Absolutely. Oh my God, yes.
Always been into music. We used to get teased by the older guys who were into like Leonard Skinner and Led Zeppelin and the Who and stuff. That little bit older generation, because we were all into Kiss and Cheap Trick and not going to use the language they used to describe the music they listened to, but they didn't think it was very cool. I remember sneaking home and like keeping it a secret from some of my friends that I was playing Blondie records and Knack records.
Yeah.
Even Cars records. The Cars, I thought all that stuff was so cool when it came out. The sounds, even the image. I mean, yeah, it was. I was in a library and saw Road to Ruin by the Ramones. It wasn't long after it came out. I don't know. This must have been one cool library back then to have a Ramones record. But
wow, yeah, it had to be super
to Ruin. They're in cartoon form. They got their leather jackets on. It was kind of cool because Kiss was getting weird.
Oh, was that their disco era?
Soul records. Then you had the double platinum, and it was all cool as a kid. And then you had Dynasty, which was a little weird. I mean, it was Kiss, and I loved Kiss. I thought it was cool. It wasn't until a little bit later when you're looking back and listening to it, and you're like, well, this isn't quite Love Gun or Destroyer, and
it's just a little different, yeah. But I do like that. I Was Made for Loving You. It's just something about that song. I just love it.
I love it. My parents took me to the Dynasty show, Madison Square Garden in '79.
Oh, nice.
A band called the Now.
The Now, okay.
And it wasn't too far into the opening band set when an M80, which is like like 5 or 10 firecrackers put together, M80, little.
Yes.
firework
Yes, I remember.
like landed under my stepdad's seat and blew up. And
Oh
he's like,
shit, was he
"That's
okay?
it." He's like, "That's yeah." He was fine. He's like, "That's
Yeah.
it. We're out of here." And he looks at me and my mom, and like I'm in Kiss makeup. I'm a Kiss kid. I was 11 years old. Put some Ace Frehley
Yeah.
makeup. My mom's wearing her Kiss sequin shirt, which is low cut, and she was chesty, and we're all into the Kiss show, and we thought it was exciting. A firework blew up, but he was all like, "We're out of here. Let's go now." And
Oh.
I'm looking at him. I'm looking at my mom. I look at my mom. I was like, "We're staying. You're out of here." That was awesome. Like, you can't pull a kid out of a Kiss show. Give me a break.
No, that's true. You don't want
But
to leave. You want to see it all. Yeah.
they had taken me to Kiss before that. I think that was my stepdad's first time going to a Kiss concert. I mean, he was cool. He got me into rock and roll. He was
Yeah.
into Hendrix. Put a Jimi Hendrix on big life-size Hendrix poster on the back of my door. I was about 4 or 5 years old. And I
Wow.
thought Jimi Hendrix was
Wow.
Jimi Hendrix to me was like what Kiss became. It was just larger than life figure, and the way
Yeah.
he dressed, just spacesuit, and the way his guitar sounded. It wasn't like MTV or whatever. I mean, if you didn't see these people really play unless you went and saw them live back then.
Right.
But I certainly, at a very early age, knew right away if it was Led Zeppelin playing or if it was Jimi Hendrix playing, and being a kid and just kind of getting off on the sounds of the electric guitar was pretty cool. Hopefully, I mean, it seems like enough people are keeping it alive. There's a whole generation of older dads who are bringing their kids to shows and buying them the guitars that they always wanted to play. So,
Yeah.
the wheel will turn. It seems like there aren't a lot of bands now, but there's a lot. There are a lot of bands now, and there always will be, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Yes. There always be some, and it's like my daughter. I tried to get her to like the bands, but she didn't like. She didn't like heavy metal, but she will like this. She does like the softer edge of the 80s, like Aha and all that stuff. But I'm glad at least she likes that. Yeah.
They
All the
one of the
softer.
most
Looking at the comments, my mom made a comment and she's like, "Hey Candy, didn't your parents bring you to Kiss?" Yes, they did. When I
Wow.
was 8, 9, I was 9. Hold on. Yeah, I was 9. I was 9 years old. Saw Kiss for the first time. Farewell tour.
Oh. So Johnny,
So,
who was
yes.
your? Yeah, that's cool. Who was your first concert?
It was early on. I mean, my mom was a bit of a hippie and took me to shows. I seen Led Zeppelin when I was 6 at Madison Square Garden. I saw Kiss when I was 7 at Madison Square
Wow.
Garden.
That's super cool, man.
My mom saw the New York Dolls play a high school graduation party. She took me to Rocky Horror Picture Show when it was playing off Broadway in New York before the movie was made, before it went out to LA and they made the movie.
Oh my gosh.
All these things have an impact on you. I mean, it was I grew up Vietnam was still going, so a lot of the boyfriends and husbands and friends of my mom were still wrapping up in Vietnam, and
Yeah.
when they came back, some didn't. It was an era of guys like jumping into empty swimming pools on Quaaludes and motorcycle accidents, and there was a lot of tragedy going on. But surprisingly, I grew up in like a very obviously loving and positive environment. I stayed out of trouble for the most part. I mean, I did the things most kids from my area did. I rolled the keg down the hill. I tripped out on acid. I stole my mom's car to go buy Black Sabbath tickets and all the things that kids did back then.
Just a regular norm. Yeah. The crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Actually, I crashed
Okay.
my mom's Cadillac. I crashed my mom's Cadillac once going to buy Ronnie James Dio tickets.
Oh,
So
sweet. Oh,
yeah, well, we didn't
Shit.
get the ticket. We wound up getting tickets later and going, but it wasn't like, the mission with the Cadillac to get the front row Ronnie James Dio tickets didn't work out.
no. Oh, I see.
Oh.
The only way you see the show is in the front row.
My mom's
Ding.
cars for me were just bad luck. I mean, I have good luck with my own cars, but I had bad luck with my mom's car. Or I remember
Oh.
getting pulled over. I'm cranking, LA Guns when LA Guns first came out. That was pretty like exciting time because some of the
LA
Oh, yeah.
for some of the diehard, the tougher rockers, the hair metal thing was starting to get a little lame. And when LA Guns and Guns N' Roses came out, it kind of recharged stuff a bit. But for me, I was kind of more LA Guns than Guns N' Roses, although I was a fanatic for the first record. I have a great Guns N' Roses story where I went and saw them at Sundance on Long Island when they first came there in '87. And I was in the front row, and there were a few hundred people there, and Slash threw me a guitar pick. And I had a
Mhm.
guitar pick, and he would bring over the guitar and kind of hold it out and let me strum chords. And that went on for
Oh.
a couple songs. And then a security guard thought I was messing with him because I was strumming the guitar. So he threw me
Oh.
out the door. I was kind of drunk
Sweet.
too. He threw me out, and I wandered around for a minute and then found another door and went in. I was in this kind of like a 4 foot high crawl space, but I was underneath the stage and I could look out through these cutouts where the stage lights were, and I could look out, and there would be Axel, and there would be Slash would walk along, and I'd see him. And at some point, Axel noticed me, and a big smile lit up because he'd seen me in the front strumming the guitar, and he seen my face poking out of the stage, and he came over and handed me a beer. And then after the and then I stayed under the stage for the rest of the set, and then after I walked out that door right into the line of people getting on the Guns N' Roses tour bus, and just
Oh,
got in the
sweet.
line. Out on the bus, and they never turned any lights on the bus. And about half the band went in the back and shut the door, and a couple of the band members out in front. And I think I was sitting across the table from Duff. Oh, I was pretty drunk, and we rolled a couple joints, and we smoked some joints, and it was very, very cool. The lights never went on, so eventually my eyes adjusted so I could see who was in the in the bus and stuff. But and then at one point, one of the members, Axel or Slash, came from the back of the bus and talked to the driver about some stuff, and that was just kind of cool. It was just like your Forrest Gump moment, man. It was just like right on.
That is so
I
cool.
never been so high in my life, and there was a
Aw.
downside to it because I'd gone to the show with my band, and they didn't, they saw me thrown out of the venue and never knew what happened to me, and they were hanging out in the parking lot of this venue, after it closed for hours and hours, and finally, like at dawn, when when we had to get off the bus when they were rolling out, I found them or they found me, and they were pissed, and I was like, I was drunk and belligerent at that point, and we're just like, well,
Oh.
fuck you guys, man. You're not. I was just partying with Guns N' Roses on the bus, and you guys are pussies. You guys are pussies, man. And then they threw me out, and I fell asleep on the sidewalk. And then one of my band members felt bad and came back for me, and literally, he's like, I watched from the back of the window as you stumbled across the sidewalk and laid down in front of that building. And when I came back 2 hours later, you were laying in the same exact spot, in the same exact position.
Oh.
So that's my Guns N' Roses story.
That's hilarious. That's a
That
good
is
one.
cool. I love it.
All right. So we're almost running out of time. We have just a few more minutes left here, Johnny, and then I know we have to send you on your way for the night. You mentioned a possible new record. Can you share anything else with us?
Yeah, I have another record in the can. I have two solo records I did starting around. I just had bad luck, I got a good record thing going in 2019, a few months before the pandemic,
Mm.
and enlisted Adam Hamilton on drums and mixing. Adam's amazing. Check him out. He's worked with everyone out there and for Cleopatra Records, and he's doing a record with Dale Bozio. I think he's working with Steve Stevens right now.
Oh, okay.
Billy Idol's guitar player. But yeah, Adam Hamilton, amazing. He's worked with LA Guns too and CC DeVille. He was in CC DeVille from Poison's
Oh
band.
yeah.
Yeah.
Love CC.
So I had 2 records with him, and they're amazing. And the independent record stations picked up on it. And at one point, Rodney Bingenheimer, Rodney on the Rock, was playing my songs for like months straight. I was on his hit list, which was awesome. And we have a 3rd record, just waiting for the smoke to clear because, I kind of had this record deal, and then when COVID hit, had a tour in the UK planned that fell apart. Was going to go to Japan and make some videos and hang out with Mike Rogers, who's a DJ there, and it was hopefully some of these connections that fell unraveled during the COVID will come back, and that's what the workout's about. It's kind of like, recovering from getting thrown off the horse. And I did manage to go to Florida a couple times and play some, short tours down there during the COVID thing. One of the few bands to go out there and play during that time. And it
Yeah.
was great. People appreciated it. Florida wasn't as restricted as some of the other parts of the country, so we were able to put together some bands and some cool shows. And I think that was important at that time because it kind of started to open the gates to other bands,
Mm.
to life getting
Mm-hmm.
to life getting back as normal, to as normal as we can make it now.
That's
But
great.
other than that, yeah, we'll put out a 3rd record, and hopefully Adam will be available. If not, there's some other people who come up that I would like to jam with. I think the next record is going to have more of the late 70s, early 80s hard rock, heavy metal influences.
I
You
like
know,
it.
a lot of my
Absolutely.
music,
That's good.
a lot of my music are just kind of like 3-chord songs with catchy choruses, and that's been my formula. I'm pretty simple songwriter, kind of Tom Petty, simple song, catchy chorus. There is some riffs, and I throw a guitar solo in almost every song, but the stuff I've been playing lately is kind of getting that AC/DC style riff, that Def
Oh
Leppard.
yeah. There you
First,
go.
the Def Leppard first couple records have been influential in the past few months.
Yes.
Thin Lizzy, always a favorite of mine, but never really incorporated that style of music into my writing.
Right.
But I'd like to. I'd like to.
So if you had to label one band that you really like, what would it be? Like
One
your
band label.
favorite? Yeah, like it's just this one's my favorite.
Come on, that's like.
I know it's a tough question.
I mean, that's an easy question for me.
I know who mine is. I love it all, but there's just one. Just like my Pepsi, just that.
Yeah, I can't be nailed down to it. It's like my moods, It's like one day I'll wake up and it's like, we'll just say, yeah, it's Kiss, and then the next day it could be, you know, Black Sabbath or Jimi Hendrix or David Bowie or Aerosmith or like, so I'm a daily favorite guy. Something gets stuck in my head and I go back and like fall in love all over again, find a new appreciation for something, hear something I didn't hear before, you know, finally figure out how to play a part and like, wow, so there isn't one. If I said it was Kiss, it would sound like to a lot of people like, oh, it was kind of narrow. They were such a great band, at one point, it was kind of a small, other days like I was actually having a conversation similar to this with a musician friend of mine. We were talking about, would Kiss have been as influential as say the Sex Pistols, both put out a record, would Kiss have been as influential as the Pistols were? if they had just done their first record and never did another one. And we said, "Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't." It took a few records for them to break through, whereas the Pistols were almost already blown up. Destroyed themselves by the time the record was even being heard by people.
Right.
And the influential went on to influence, so many things, as Kiss did too. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? There aren't really answers to this. Some days it's like Thin Lizzy is my favorite band, and you're like, there's ever been anyone like Phil, a black Irishman fronting the band on the bass and coming up with those riffs. I mean, when I was younger and first heard him and saw on like the Midnight Special or Don Kirsh's rock concert, whatever it was, when I first saw him play live, I was like, how is this guy not Jimi Hendrix resurrected, like on the bass?
Right. Yeah.
That's how. But so many great bands. I guess I don't really have a favorite. If people want to, they can just say, "Wow, Johnny, he just really loves rock and roll. He just everything about it." Like.
Yeah.
I mean, I like a bunch of different bands too, but if I have to pick one, that's easy, Lisa.
I know who that is, and Johnny is wearing it.
That's one of them. That's not the one I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Duh. Yeah.
Armageddon, if you're
Yes.
watching.
Armageddon. Yes, absolutely. Have you heard of them, Johnny?
I have. Wait, no, I have. Of course, I've heard of them. I just haven't heard a lot from them.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
Armageddon. Yeah.
My favorite band is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Or the heavy metal. The heavy metal movie that came out in the early '80s with that soundtrack.
That one too. Yeah, that one was awesome.
I've done a few songs with the playthroughs from that soundtrack.
Yeah. Mom likes.
I also.
Yeah.
I also like the, what do you call it? The Fastway that played in Halloween. Oh, Trick or Treat. I meant to say Trick or Treat.
Oh, that Halloween.
Every one of those
Armageddon, if you're watching.
What happened?
I said, sorry, Armageddon, if you're watching. That's one of his favorite movies.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Trivia question for you. Which one of you guys remember the gals? Sorry. Which one of you gals remember the movie? It was we'll just kind of say new wave, punkish movie with songs by Alice Cooper in it.
New wave movie with Alice Cooper in it.
New wave.
Oh. Hold on. New wave. Fuck. You got me there. Am I supposed to know this? I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure.
I was trying to remember it, so I was hoping you guys.
I don't recall that. Can't recall that one.
Well, if you figure it out, let us know, because now this is going to bother us.
Yeah, now we're boggled. Mind boggled.
Hey, yeah, it's maybe one of your listeners out there, watchers, will figure that one out.
That would be cool. Tune in and give it the answer.
But there was one. It was like a new wave zombie movie. Well, hey, thanks for having me. Next time we do this, we'll do my studio, and I can play you some songs, and I can show your audience some cool stuff, and we'll have some time to wind up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Johnny, one last question. One last question before we cut you loose. Can you plug all your socials, your website, and let everybody know where they can find you?
Well, if you want to hear the music, go to Spotify, or ask Siri, play Johnny Jetson, and you can find me on Facebook, on the Johnny Jetson Facebook page.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's how I found you.
That's mainly where we're keeping it. There's a Bandcamp page. I put out the records on the Minneapolis record label. So if they went to the band camp, which is a great place to support the bands and buy their songs and stuff and their merch.
Gotcha.
Oh, Anthony says Wayne's World. Is that it? Is that the one you're thinking of, Johnny?
No, that's what he's calling that's what he's calling this interview.
Wayne's World.
Party time. Excellent.
I'm not
No
worthy.
way.
Believe me, I
I love it.
get a lot of that.
Honey, we love you. Thank you so much for coming to Front Row Promotions. We enjoyed having you here, and definitely you're coming back and you'll play your music. Yes. Absolutely. Can you get
I
your
look
mom to
forward to
do the
it.
picture? Awesome. Can you do this, Johnny, with us? Can you have your
I don't
mom
know
take the picture?
I don't know what
Okay.
you're doing. I can't see you.
Oh, okay. We're making the heart.
How do you make
Take two
it?
C's. Make one. Make a C. Make another C. And
Yeah,
just
like that. There you go. Okay.
there
Mom,
you
go
go.
for it.
Oh,
Thank you.
yes, yours is nice. There you go.
There you
Cheese.
go. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. All right, Johnny. Well, thank you again for joining us. It's been a
Thanks
pleasure.
again.
You're welcome back
Great night.
anytime.
You're
Enjoy
welcome.
your vacation, my friend. And hey, do me a favor, send some warm weather up our way, would you?
Yes, bring it. Bring it next time you come. Yes. Oof, oof.
I'm getting hot flashes now. Thank you very much, Johnny. Appreciate it. Oh, and a request for your workout videos.
There you
Sure.
go.
There's this song by Ghost that I absolutely love, Dance Macabre.
Send me the link and I'll learn it for you.
I will. Awesome. Thank you so
Look
much,
at
Johnny.
that.
All right, Lisa.
Sweet. Yeah.
Awesome. Why don't you put a bow on it for us?
Okay, so thank you, Johnny, for coming to Front Row Promotions. Thank you, everyone who tuned in and asked questions and gave your compliments. Thank you so much. And always support live music, live local music, music in the making, and music everywhere. Front Row Promotions. Bye now.
Fuck your Pepsi.
Fuck your Coke.
I have to get that.